Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss DuPont control chart. Well, this DuPont control chart is basically an analysis which has been presented by a US-based company. DuPont company is its nomenclature, and this company is in the business of producing plastic granules. Well, they prepare a chart which is now popularly known as DuPont control chart.
This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to discuss DuPont control chart with you. The DuPont control chart is an analysis which has been presented by a US-based company, DuPont, and this company is in business of manufacturing of plastic granules. They made a chart which is now popularly known as DuPont control chart. This chart is basically lay emphasis on ROI, that is called as return on investment or capital employed. And we all know that the earning capacity of company is always denoted by return on investment. And it is very well aware that ROI depends upon two ratios, that is net profit ratio and capital turnover ratio. A change in any of these ratios will affect the firm's earning power, and that is what is the DuPont control chart is. Well, before moving forward, how this ROI is being, or formula or return on capital is being derived, as I mentioned that it depends on two ratios, that is net profit ratio and capital employed turnover ratio. The formula of net profit ratio is operating profit upon sales, that will multiply by 100, and capital employed turnover is sales upon capital employed multiplied by 100, so 100 is going to be cancelled. So using mathematical formula, mathematical operations, the formula of ROI or ROC is EBIT, that is earning before interest and tax, and capital employed is being achieved. Well, this is the DuPont control chart, which explains that how these two ratios affect the ROI. Well, net profit ratio and capital turnover ratio. Net profit is net profit or operating profit divided by sales. Further, net profit, the formula of net profit is sales minus all of the expenses. Expenses here we consider all operating, that is cost of goods sold plus admin, selling and distribution expenses. If I talk about capital turnover, it's sales divided by capital employed, where capital employed is working capital plus fixed assets, and working capital is CA minus CA. Well, these two ratios means net profit ratio and capital turnover ratio, on which ROA depends, are further affected by many factors. So any change in any of the factors or in these two ratios will change not only these two ratios but ROI also. Now these various factors affecting the ROI can be depicted in this chart, which is in the right now on screen, is called as DuPont control chart. Well, these two factors interact and collectively determine the profitability of the firms, or in simple words, these two factors when combined together determine the earning power of the firm. Moreover, the profit margin is determined by the relationship between the selling price and the cost structure and the expense of the company, and each of these elements has an effect on the profit margin of the firm. On the other hand, turnover of the firm, which is measured in terms of turnover of total assets, depends upon the composition of total assets and relationship with the sales of the firm. So that is how the formula of ROI and this chart is being depicted. So the chart shows that when the investment turnover is multiplied by net profit ratio, the product is which is termed as ROI, and this analysis brings together the profit margin with the assets turnover and shows that profitability depends not only in the profit margin but also on how efficiently the firm has used its assets to generate sales. Now let us take an example. If there is any increase in working capital, which is being mentioned here, so if there is any increase in working capital, the total capital employed will be more. It will have a direct impact on the capital employed, means more will the working capital, more will the work capital employed, and therefore in the absence of any change in net profit ratio, there is no change in net profit ratio, ROI will decrease. So if working capital increases, capital employed increases and net profit ratio, there is no change in net profit. This ratio automatically decreases. So as an and vice versa, as an increase in profit can be achieved. So an increase in profit can be achieved either by more effective use of capital, which will result in a higher turnover ratio, or better sales efforts, which will result in a higher net profit ratio. So the interaction of these two ratios, as we took in the DuPont control chart, tells the overall proficiency of the business, and it clearly overall performance shows that overall performance can be improved either by improving the profit margin or by accelerating the pace of rotation of funds for each business activity, leading to more sales rupee of investment. And the profit margin can be raised by controlling the cost and increasing the revenue. The investment turnover can be raised by limiting the investment in fixed assets or working capital without adversely affecting the sales. So at last, I want to say this analysis presents a clear picture of the softwares which need more attention to be paid by the management to have better performance. Thank you.